Welcome to the Noblenews interview series. This is part of the journey in the life of the Ace Radio Commentator, Emeka Odikpo. In the first part, this lodestar proved beyond reasonable doubt that once a radio football commentator, always a radio football commentator. His sample on the sport commentary were jawbreakers. His insightful philosophical analyses were full of lessons. This encyclopaedia in the broadcast industry is here again in the second part of our journey into his life. Be with us.
I also had my own direct experience about the man. When I was serving in Enugu, I happened to be a member of almost all the libraries I know in Enugu, including the Enugu campus that was burnt during riot. Their catalog was one of the best I've seen across the universities that I studied their cataloging system. And librarians have this unique space they call out of bond or only staff. But every time I come, I become a nuisance to them because I will be asking for materials, and these are seniors. They are maybe discussing or eating their granite. So anytime I come in, they will tell me, "Copper, help yourself." One day, as I was walking out of the state public library, an elderly man stopped me and said, "You are a Hausa man. What relationships do you have with Ernest Okonkwo?" I said, "I don't know the man. I've never seen him." I said, "Why?" The man said, "Anytime there is a very important match in Enugu, every librarian in Enugu will be disturbed because if Ernest is going into that library, you are in trouble. Sometimes he can ask for one newspaper 5 times. So every librarian is put on jump." What he is saying is that the man, aside being on the commentary box, he is a workaholic in research, both the teams, the players, clubs, the coaches, the nation.
That's why I told you that nobody can do what Ernest was doing. I said it earlier in this discussion. Me, I can't. Ernest recorded all the matches he ran commentary on. He recorded even the ones he didn't run commentary. He will select, depending on the importance, the grading of that match. He will ask, or so his senior board to record for him. I hardly do that. Ernest has one old Sony recorder, and the thing is falling off his repair. Look, it took time to make sure you were qualified. He would tell me, Emeka, read, eat. Your journey is great. I'm sorry I'm saying it because if you look at this man is present, no, I'm telling you before God and man, that he will say, Emeka, eat, read, eat, but thy journey is great. It's in the Bible anyway. That motivated me. That really was part of the motivation I had. We were lazy, the younger ones. Ernest was very thorough. Even Tolu was not as thorough. Let me tell you, 2 hours to comment, Ernest cannot eat anything except water. But we, the younger, we will go and start quaffing beer. Even quaffing beer, 2 minutes to airtime, you just stroll in. Ernest believed that beer, for instance, alcohol, lowers the pace, the fiber and timbre of the voice. So he will not drink anything. He never drank anyway, but he will not even encourage you. If you come 2 hours late to any major international match, you will not go on air because he will tell you, what research have you done? And that's why most of the things, because we are lazy, we never liked him. Some people say, unless we ask you, draw team list, draw playing pattern. You will draw it because so that you know that you understand what you are saying. You must understand the pattern of play. Is it 2-3-3-3-4, 3-3-4? Is it 2-3-2-5-1, whatever? Then if it is 3-3-4, what is the likelihood of attack and all that? You must understand it before you go on air. He said because as the commentator talking to blind people who are not watching, blind people in quotes, people who are not watching the game, you are their eyes, you are their ears, you are their mouth, you are their brain, you are their thinking faculty, everything. So you cannot afford to fail. If a referee takes a decision, you must know that according to Law 101, that he was right because of so. This person was disturbing the run of play. That was why he was in offside. If he wasn't pursuing the ball, he wouldn't have been offside. You must explain it.
Even myself, when I was doing extracts for some of these commentaries, I thought it was Ernest that coined the man miracle.
No, he never went to it. Never.
Yes, as you just mentioned, 89. Of course, most people who knew when he died knew how sick he was. That 89.
Yes.
The question is, in your entire career, which football commentary will you pick as your most exciting?
The one I would choose as the most exciting was in US 94, Italy, Nigeria. The match that would have taken us to the first ever African quarterfinal. And we failed just less than 7 minutes to go. Because that, of course, calls for caution on your part not to exhibit your bias, emotions. That also calls on your part your dexterity as a professional radio commentator. Why did the referee take such decisions? We were explaining. Augustine Eguavon was adjudged to have committed the foul in the penalty that they got the penalty for. Why? Everybody was saying, what did he do? We now have to explain that intention is also a foul. It's also punishable. Intention to commit foul is a... How do you judge intention? The referee is the sole judge of intention. He uses his discretion. That is the major thing. That's why the referees survive all their decisions. You can punish him later. You cannot overturn the decision of the referee. They have the discretionary power, and that is Law 5. Discretionary power of the referee is very important. We needed to explain it because we knew that Nigerians at home would have exploded. If you don't control it, they may go to the Italian embassy and start burning or something like that. That was a constant issue even in Brazil. I consider that as my real turning moment because after that game, when we came back, people were saying, Emeka, that was good. That was good. Not necessarily in terms of the flow, but at least they were educated. That somebody recorded it who I later met in life. I never met him at that time. And he took his pen and paper and was writing, taking notes of what we were saying. We were saying this not because we wanted to show off, but at least we wanted people to understand certain decisions that referees take on the field of play. It is a momentary thing. Referee has less than 2 seconds to take a decision. Not now that he takes a decision and they go to VAR and they wait. We know that time. The referee decides who was offside. The referee decides who was infringing, either a serious foul or a foul. The referee decides whether there's a handball. The referee decides whether the man raised his foot too high. Now the assistant referees will help. Then the VAR will also help. So it's no longer that sole decision as such.
This particular match, from what you just said, could it also be one of your lowest points? Could at any point in your commentary life feel so bad for either a referee's decision or a team's performance that you want to shed tears? Yes,
that was Senegal 92.
Wow.
That was Senegal 92, Nigeria, Ghana, the semi-final that Abedi Pele scored with a backheader when we were almost coasting home. So we ended up picking the bronze. It was highly painful. I went to that Senegal with Farouk Musa, with Tolu Fato Imbo. In fact, Tolu was our leader. Tolu at that time was even an assistant director. He nearly fought. There was this Ghana, Kweku Poku, their commentator. So he went to ask him. The match had just ended. He walked from their own commentary box to our own to find out how we feel, Nigerian journalists. So he asked Tolu.
That is looking for trouble.
Yes, Tolu now said to him, Kweku, or whatever you are called, I don't care what your name is. I don't care what your name is. You know you are insulting me. Do you know I'm a director in FRCN? And they and I said, TF, that's what we call Tolufate TF. This is what they would train us to control our emotions. They said, no, I'm going to report him. He's insolent. I said, what did he say? He asked you how you feel about it. That day, we didn't even follow the media boss. We stayed back in the stadium. It was horrible. Another, this thing was in Australia 2000. Gloria Lozier was built to win the hurdles. She was running well, just less than 2 hurdles away. Mm-hmm. This American girl came and overtook her, and she got the silver. I cried. Mm-hmm. I cried because we wanted Gloria to win gold medal as a compensation. You recall that in Australia 2000, the boyfriend was also an athlete. He was knocked down by a car in the competition and he died. Gloria wept and wept. They had to work on her and she vowed she was going to win the gold for the would-be husband. And she failed. Everybody was devastated. Everybody.
I'm still going back to your own mentoring with Ernest Okonkwo.
Yeah.
Wouldn't one think that is actually the reason why football commentary, especially radio football commentary, declined? Because one is expected to just be who he is. No direct mentoring. There is no baton exchange between a great radio commentator to a mentee. Everybody believes in his own know-how, his own innate qualities without harnessing them into something tangible. Wouldn't it be why we just glue to TV now without motoring like it used to be and listening to radio?
Well, you see, the problem is multifaceted. If you take it only on this, you may be wrong. Let me tell you, our attitude to it. You know, those days, all my active days in Radio Nigeria, I never went for any social gathering. It was so difficult. Why? Because we operate on weekends. The weekends that they would now, you go for social gathering, maybe wedding, maybe burial or something. You are there looking for facts for a match that is coming up. Those days, we had budget for games, internal and external. We had budget for games. You were encouraged to cover. These days, there's no budget for games. But let me not go deep, but let me just answer your question. We had more than 10 workshops to pull people and lure them. Come. They would be, you are traveling. Hey, me, since I came to Everton, I never went to Cotonou. But you say, okay, you come to sports. You have opportunity. That is our opportunity there. You can't deny it. Come to sports and be part of it. The person will come when the public holiday weekend, all those things, you hardly even go to church. So the person will run away, especially the women. You bring women who say, on Saturday I go to market, I do home chores, how can I do this? So when they come, they run. So only 1 or 2 remained. Only Neka became an advisor who will soon retire in 2 months' time. Was the one woman that survived in sports. Others, we just tell you, no, many came and left. In fact, many came and felt that if you keep them there, you are against them. They will tell their husband and say, this man doesn't like me. They may even concoct some stories.
Yes.
It happened. I'm not just saying it. Then you take the young boys, they will come. Either the ones that are interested will not have the diction, will not have the language. You can't manage. Do you know how many we have sent to training school and they say, they still cannot go on air. Assessment. As I tell them, if you're not a commentator, you don't get the excitement of being there.
The reason why I asked this question, to be fair to Ernest Okonkwo and my confirmation from you today,
yes,
Ernest Okonkwo did not die. He had Emeka Odikpo. Can we say who is Emeka Odikpo's successor? What I'm trying to say, both in politics and in the whole gamut of life, we have outstanding personalities, but succession, transferring this thing, these special gifts, is not there. Now, if God spare my life, I'll be looking for Emeka Odikpo in the next generation. Can I find one?
Well, I discovered one who ran away. Pride engulfed him. Kelechi Omudiwe. I discovered he was a disc jockey. He went to school, he went to university, and this no job came. He became a DJ somewhere in Norway. I went for an MC-ship, and he was the DJ. I felt he did well. In fact, before I came on air, in the program. So he held everybody spellbound. And I looked at the timbre of his voice, and I said, would you like to work on radio and sports commentary particularly? And he said, Oga, anything, I can do anything. And I said, okay, let's see how it goes. He gave me a CV before I left over the next day. And I presented it, and I pleaded with Bankole Balogun at the time. I said, Oga, I beg you. Look, when we leave, nobody's coming behind us. We have people who are producers. If you come to sports and they are producer, the excitement is not there. People don't even know you, except maybe when you present sports news, as I am Emeka Odikpo, and that is the end. But commentary is the actual, the cocoa, the sports. This boy now on his own went to the training school because, our training school admits even outsiders. He went to the training school, did his basic commentator's course. When he came and now added it, and eventually he was taken. He started well, and people were asking, who is that boy? He just emerged like that. He was doing well. At some point, I think the pride came to him too quick. The success he couldn't manage. He would travel, you would see him. I found myself doing the work that he should do. That is part of the mentorship. You are in radio and you are not mentoring, then you are not doing justice to radio work. Radio work is about mentorship. And that is why we don't care. If somebody goes on air, if I come to Kaduna or Zaria and I listen to you and you didn't do well, if I have your number, I call you and say, why did you do this? Why did you say this is wrong? You may be angry, but I'm not doing it to malign you. That is the thing. So I kept saying, we will soon go, we will soon go, we will soon go, come. Even Ladan Salih, when he was the DJ of FRCN, he called me and said, Emeka, what can we do? Look at this commentary, Emeka. If you go, what is next? I said, Oga, let's draw out a program, daily break program, training, trainers workshop, training. He said, if you can bring somebody from outside, any station or something who is good, I don't mind, I will employ him. And we did that. We discovered another person. Kelechi, he came, he was not quite 1 year. I took him to Egypt for coverage. The day of the final of the 2006 Cup of Nations in Egypt, it was Egypt and Ivory Coast that played in that final. Ivory Coast beat us in the semi through Drogba. I told him, I said, look, with experience, the match will start at 2 p.m. local time. Come to the stadium at 10 a.m. They sell food around the stadium. We eat, if it is junk food, we eat it for today in the stadium. But let us be sure we are in the stadium. He said, okay, sir. By 10:30, I came into the stadium. When I was going, I was even coming with apologies to him that I said 10, but I came in around 10:30. I didn't see anybody. The problem in Egypt is that if their president was coming to the stadium, you don't go into the stadium with your phone. You go to their phone store and deposit and move in. So if you deposit and move in, you are cut off with the outside world completely. So Kelechi couldn't get me again. Do you know Kelechi did not come into the stadium until the end of the final? So if he was the one to run that commentary, the commentary has failed. That final that FRCN sent you and got sponsors for. When I came in, I was asked why he did not. I said they had locked the gate before he came. The boy felt I was maligning him. It was as clear as daylight. What lie could I have told management? The thing continued until one day we now discovered that he was very prominent in DSTV, the Super Sports. He's running, analyzing, doing everything there. One organ now said, is that not the boy? What time does he have to do this? Is he not a staff of that? And I say he's not a staff. I say it's just PT. I called Kelechi. I said, see. And when I left, some people came to me and said, Kelechi was abusing me. He said that I never liked him. Brought you. Me that brought you. I never liked him. One thing happened one day. We went for one press conference. Shino was the one who represented us. Shino Abimbola. He went there. And when he got there, he saw Kelechi. When they were doing the introduction, he got up and said, I'm Kelechi Omudiwe of Super Sports. In government regulation, you can't have two jobs. I am Kelechi Omudiwe of Super Sports. And Super Sports goes all around Africa and beyond. They now said, no, Kelechi, choose one. It's either you work for SuperSport or you work for Radio Nigeria. He resigned and left. We got Ama Ignis. He's still there on and off. He still runs commentary for us, though. I discovered it to regularize staff membership of FS. So it's neither here nor there. These little things get into their heads. We also had it, but we never allowed it. It was managed.
I still hope it won't be too late because we need your mentee. And let me also mention how difficult I know it is for you and many other people in this particular art. I was in secondary school, actually, a teacher's training college, when I first had the rehearsal of one Hausa musician, Sani Aliu Dandawo, an outstanding musician. He just died not too He stammers. When I came home, the first thing I told my mom was, Sani Aliu Dandawo stammers. But he doesn't while singing. She just laughed and said that any day somebody who stammers during or while singing, that is the day he will die. I don't know if this is applicable to radio football commentary, but if somebody stutters during speech, there is no how he will be able to excel in radio football commentary.
Yes.
If one is a very slow speaker too, may not be able to adequately describe the ball and what happens around the ball in radio football commentary. He may be okay in television.
Yes.
Are these things part of the impediments that after sending so many in this training institution for commentary, they are not able to fit in?
Well, the stammering thing, let me just clear it in one sentence. We used to have one, you may not have had his name, Gabriel Otaro. The Gabriel is late now. So, but when they read the news, they're excellent. This is management. So I don't think that there's any disability one cannot conquer if you are determined. That's one. Then there are so many, as I said, the sports commentary now is no longer very viable in a big sense. I told you how government was voting for money. We had budget. The budget is not how much is it for this coverage. No, budget put there. If you don't spend it all, you return, just like they do with the budget. We had local and international coverages. These days, government even says you can't travel abroad. The FRC now turned to semi-commercial station. So it is difficult. It means that for you to cover any event, you must have sponsorship for that event. Sponsorship to cover the cost and sponsorship to make money at the end of the day. So that is a serious debilitating factor. Government no longer budgets for travels. The station is now commercialized, so you need to fend for yourself and so on. Then, three, I'm sure that if they revitalize that sector again, government say, okay, we have seen that when Super Eagles go out, the local content is not there. Most of the matches on Super Sports, and people now go to viewing centers and all that. Because unless you subscribe to DSTV, you cannot watch the match. That we now need the local content whereby NTA, Radio Nigeria, should be responsible from the federal angle. We now subvent their travel so that they'll be able to cover, maybe lead some major events. And people start imagining. Okay. Then the interest in that area will come back. As it is now, it's dormant, is almost gone. At least the local angle to it.
In rounding up, sir, is there another thing you can add? Either about your person, about the possibility or impossibility of reviving this very rare art, radio football commentary?
Well, let me take the possibility or impossibility aspect. It's like somebody watching his baby die. I feel pained, greatly pained. And you see, the thing is that, okay, the questions may be asked. What have you done at your own level? What is government doing or government has done or management? At my own level, I have tried. In fact, Ladan will tell me, Emeka, the way you are taking this thing, in fact, people believed, he wants to make some money. That's why he's pushing for this workshop every time. I wanted it to be an outstanding rotational workshop. We do it in Enugu, we do it in Kaduna, we do it in Abuja, we do it in Lagos, we do it in Ibadan, and so on and so forth, so that we pick people, we coach them, at least, because we have seen that state stations don't have the capacity to send their people for coverages outside Nigeria, even within Nigeria. So we still, as poor as we are, as bad as it is, FRCN and NTA are still much better than state stations and radio and TV. So I think that as we are going, the coast is becoming poorer. Now, they have created a sports department now. NECA is the head of sports. NECA is not a commentator. So her interest may not even go to that this thing. The next to NECA is Grace Adams. Grace Adams is not a commentator. The next is Ndubeze Chidoka, is not a commentator. There's Aliyu, who is next to this one, is not a commentator. Aliyu is even a presenter. There is Emmanuel Kome. He is not a commentator. So, apart from Ahmad that I described, who is neither here nor there, right now in the headquarters, that's the only person we have.
Wow.
You go to the national stations, Garba Sani is not a commentator, but he's gone. Garba Sani will make things happen. When Garba Sani was there, he was just as they say, utility player. Yes. He was utility staff. Because if you ask Garba Sani, say, go and get me governor to interview, he will do it. He may not do it properly, or he may need to make corrections, editings, and all that. But he will get you the governor. That is the kind of person that I want to work in sports. Garba has left. I have left. Shina Bimbola has left. And so on. In Enugu, Andrew Nebedum has left. And no other person in Enugu. Willie Wanyangu has also left. In Ibadan, Henry Akisoyini has left. Who again? Rock that would have run to the headquarters and his manager programs. But I know that with sensitization and softening of employment policy in that regard, because I tell them that it's an exceptional place. Because a commentator is an all-rounder. I'm sorry I'm saying this. Because one, you need to know what the law says, so you're a lawyer. Two, you need to know the political terrain you are in, so you're a politician.
Yes.
Three, you need to know the traditional and cultural institution, so that you don't go and say things that will be offensive to their culture or to the tradition of the people. So you are an anthropologist, you are a sociologist, you are a medical doctor, you are a referee, you are a coach. Because when you are running commentary and a player is badly placed, you say so that it could have been so. If he had run into the box at earlier time, because that pass was meant for him, he would have knocked it in and blah, blah, blah. So you're a coach. You're also a referee because of the decision. You're also a fan. You're also a member of the crowd. You're also a player.
Yes.
So you are an all-rounder. So half-baked people will not be commentators. And that's why when they come, they see the magnitude of the work, they run away. Because people will tell you easily, the sports people, useless people, what do? They don't know anything. Time has passed. If you get to sports, you see people who have degrees, if it's the degree that matter. You see people who have bigger gray matter than white matter in their brain.
Yes.
Better than you people. The sports commentator is a presenter. He presents his reports. He runs commentary on air. He's an on-air personality. He produces programs. He is a reporter. He goes to hunt for news. He's everything. In sports, it's do it yourself. You are everything. In programs, you just go and produce, collect, listen, produce, and go. In news, you go collect news and read and go. This place, you collect news, you produce news, you dispense news, you present news, and report news. That's a sports commentator. People must begin to know that it's a very big institution, a special and exclusive area, and people need to be sensitized and encouraged to go into it. If BBC that started how many years ago still have commentators, and now they also try to bring people from outside, we should do likewise. We shouldn't allow our own system to die so soon.
So do you have your own, and particularly Emeka Odikpo and Ernest Okonkwo's commentary intact? Can we get some tips?
That is the problem. I don't have. What I have is just one or two that somebody recorded and gave me, and I kept it.
Your own?
Yes.
Okay. What for Ernest?
I have one of the little of snippets of Ernest.
Okay. Sorry.
I have.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay,
it's a pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you.
Smart. Yeah.
Thank you for being with us. You heard it all from the horse's mouth. The broadcaster par excellence in general and outstanding radio football commentator in particular. Emeka Odikpo, thank you for your time and enriching discussion. We hope you will avail us your time again when we come knocking. Let me, on behalf of the Noble News Online, most sincerely thank you for being with us in both Part 1 and 2, the concluding part of a journey in the life of Emeka Odikpo. On behalf of staff of Noble News, particularly the interviewer, U.S. Machika, my co-editor, Abubakar Yunusa, Abdullahi Muhammad, the webmaster, and Mrs. H.U. Machika, who transcribed the interview, and all those who contributed one way or the other, I am Farouk Nanubelo, your anchor, saying keep in touch with Noble News interview series. Thank you and God bless.